Hi, I'm Alan Hutchison and thank you for downloading the Wedding Photographer's Lead Generation Toolkit. So what's going to be in this toolkit? Well, the first thing we're going to cover are core marketing concepts that you must use anytime you're doing any kind of advertising. Then we're going to cover 5 winning Facebook advertising concepts that I used in my own wedding photography business. It took us to 6 figures in just 2 short years. I'm then going to show you how you laser target these adverts and not lose any money, because it's the craziest thing I see every day when I'm on Facebook. I'll be sitting browsing away and up will pop an advert for a wedding photographer, and let's face it, I'm not looking for a wedding photographer. I'm not getting married, so why am I seeing these ads? And that's just down to poor targeting by the person that's advertising. So one of the key things as well is Facebook advertising can be quite, I wouldn't say it's difficult, but Facebook, the terminology can take a little bit to get used to. So I do recommend spending some time learning how the basic Facebook, or Meta as they're calling it now, ad interface works. And there's a link down below where you'll be able to get access to that advertising guide. And I do recommend you spend a little time in that. Other content in the toolkit, well, we're going to give you a full section on content marketing. Content marketing is amazing, mainly because it's free, right? I'll explain what content marketing is when we get to the toolkit, but I think if you spend some time in it, you can get some great benefits. And then I'm going to give you my Facebook ads crib sheet, which is basically a checklist that I use. It covers all the Facebook ad settings for the relevant advertising campaign types that we use. And if you go through that, it's a way of making sure you don't waste any money. We're going to give you some bonus content. One of which is how to hack ideas from other photographers, right? If you see you can see adverts popping up every day, but sometimes you won't see these ads because they're not advertising to you. So I'll show you how to actually find these adverts, okay? And you can see what other people are up to. Then I'm also going to give you the guide to the Facebook Metapixel, which is very important. You should install it, and the guide covers basically what the Facebook Metapixel is and gives you a link on where to go to actually get it installed on your site. And lastly, I'm going to give you details of the Wedding Vendor Affiliate Gift Voucher Scheme, which is another lead generation tool that we used to draw business to us, and we'll cover that as well. So we're going to cover marketing core concepts first of all, because it's a basic fundamental thing you need to do anytime you're doing any kind of marketing to generate leads in your business. And the concept I'm going to cover is a thing called AIDA. You may have heard of this, you may not, but essentially it's a mnemonic. It stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. And the first thing is attention. Any advert or social media post or anything I put up, I'm trying to attract business to me or attract leads, I have to grab their attention. It really has to right away jump out the page and make me stop scrolling, right? So it's got to be something in that advert that makes me go stop and grab my attention. Next, once I've got their attention, I've got to generate some interest. So I've got to have something in that advert that makes me start thinking about the advert. Then I've got to create some form of desire, and that typically comes in the form of pictures or videos, or it can be words as well, to help draw you a bit further into that advert and make you say, I'm finding this is, this is really something I should be looking at. And last of all, you have action, A for action. You've got to have a clear call to action in your advert, right? It's really got to be specific and to the point and telling the customer exactly what you want them to do next. Now, the other thing we've got to do, basic fundamentals of marketing, is think about our objective, what we're trying to do with this advert. Who is our target audience? Now, this is basic stuff. Number one, you've got to know who your target audience is. You've got to know who your ideal customer is. You must have a picture in your mind. Who do I want to market my wedding photography to? Right? You should know where they are, where they're based, or where they're holding their wedding. If it's people coming out of the country, you've got to know their ages. You've got to know their genders, obviously their demographic, their income levels, and their interests. Right? It's really so you can really laser target who you're advertising to, because we'll only want to advertise to those people and not anybody else. There's no point advertising to me. As I mentioned earlier, I see people posting wedding ads all the time, and I'm seeing them and I shouldn't see them. Right? That's people just wasting their money. So you only want to target your adverts to your specific audience. You've got to think about your budget. How much do you want to spend a day? Now, I always suggest spending, in my business, I spent 5% of my turnover on advertising. It's up to you what you spend, but I suggest to get some half decent results, you've got to spend at least £100 a month just to generate some leads here. Video ads tend to work best. I use a product called Animoto to create engaging marketing videos, and you can incorporate text, and you try and keep them not too long, because you just want to keep a nice short video that's going to attract people. And remember, when you're thinking about your adverts, to use this concept called AIDA. Your attention, interest, desire, and action. Now, the other key marketing concept is testing. And there's three things you've got to do here. First one is test, second one is test, and the third one is test, right? I'm saying that to try and get it home to you. What we mean by testing, I'm going to show you an illustration here. These were 4 adverts I used for my SEO business a few years back. And it was just such a clear indication to me how important testing is. We ran 4 adverts, 4 different pictures on them. And the first image here is the one that was the most successful, the one with a little blackboard, right? And the second image was the one that was least successful. Now, there's not much difference between those 2 images, really, in terms of content. It's a kid. I was trying to make the idea of we make SEO child's play kind of thing. But the one on the right was a bit more technically worded. On the drawing it mentioned SEO, but our other image mentioned ranking. So I think that was what made the difference, and it was like the adverts were like night and day. So that's why how important it is to test your adverts. So you run what we call A/B testing. You run different versions of your adverts with just slight subtle changes, and then monitor them for a few days and see which ad is actually the best performing. And once you've figured that out, you switch the poor one off, and you can continue to test, maybe make another subtle change to the actual wording in the advert, or to change your call to action, and see if that makes any difference. So I really got to hammer it home. You've got to test when you're doing advertising. So when doing this testing, always test different videos, images, and what you're trying to do here is figure out what your audience prefers, because it might be different from other photographers. I'm going to show you some adverts that work for me, but you might find that these images don't quite work for your audience because of your style of photography and your unique selling point. And this is why I always say you've really got to know who your target customer is, what type of person they are, what kind of age range they are, and what kind of images will appeal to them. Now, I'll typically test different images first, or video first, depending if I'm using images or video. I always change them first in my testing, and then I'll change the text. I'll run the tests in the same ad sets and across the same budget, spread across the ads, and just monitor it for a couple of days and see what's going to happen. Now, in terms of audience definition, your audience needs to be clearly defined, and this is when we talk about laser targeting. Think about the location. Are we thinking city level? Are we thinking county, region, state, or national? Depending on where you're based. Obviously, if you're based in the States, it's unlikely you're going to be working nationally unless you're a really high-end photographer and willing to travel. But where I was based in the UK, I was based in Scotland. Now, I pitched myself as a high-end wedding photographer. It wasn't really that high-end, but it was higher-end than most photographers in the area by a significant amount. So for me to find the type of weddings that I wanted to do, I had to pitch myself nationally, i.e. across the whole of Scotland, because a lot of the high-end wedding video venues, sorry, I can't speak today, because of the high-end wedding venues, there are not so many in my local area, so that's why I needed to travel a bit. So think about where the location of where your audience is going to be. And in terms of age, it's the next thing you need to think about. What age is your perfect client? Now, for me, my perfect client was slightly older. I pitched it at people who were between the ages of 35 to 45, mainly because I wanted somebody who was slightly more mature, likely to be further up their career and therefore a higher disposable income, because they were the type of people who booked the type of weddings that I wanted to photograph. Next, in terms of gender, who you're targeting. For me, I really promoted my bridal portraits as part of my USB, so I was targeting myself at the bride. I then wanted brides who were interested in the fashion and basically took an interest in themselves, their own appearance. So I was then narrowing my audience to pick up people who were reading magazines like Cosmopolitan, Vanity Fair, Vogue, that kind of thing. And obviously they must also match an interest in weddings, and they must also be a status of engaged or newly engaged. And you can actually pick out newly engaged 3 months, 6 months or a year on Facebook when you're doing the advertising settings. So here's the 5 winning ads that worked for me. I'm going to talk about these in general. Now, the key thing is, what we're looking at here is the advertising concept, not specifically the content of the advert, it's the concept of it and why it worked. So the first one I'm going to show you is one that would work if you're a new photographer. Now, what do I mean by new photographer? Well, typically if you're a new photographer, it's hard to get a strong portfolio, a strong wedding portfolio, because you may just have a couple of weddings that you did for friends to start off with. You may have done a couple of, let's say, less expensive weddings, and perhaps those images are not what we would class as portfolio material. Now that could be down to just not the right venues for you, or just not the right type of wedding. You've got to think about where you want to pitch yourself in the market. Now, I always suggest to people, pitch yourself higher in the market. Pitch yourself much higher than who you are. If you're starting off and you're looking around in Facebook wedding groups and you're trying to think, what should I charge for my first wedding? You'll get advice about charging $350, $600, $700, and I say, nonsense. You need to charge higher, right? Now, before you can do that though, you do have to have a decent product. You do have to have a decent portfolio. So this is where this advert comes in. Now, if we look at this advert, what it says is, have you booked your dream castle wedding? Right? If the answer is yes, I want to hear from you. So the first thing I'm doing there is trying to grab their attention by saying, have you booked your dream castle wedding venue? Right? And then I'm qualifying them by saying, if the answer is yes, I want to hear from you. So I don't want to hear from anybody that hasn't booked a dream castle event. So I'm trying to get something in my wedding portfolio that's going to have pictures of castles in it, which would be awesome for my portfolio. And the image there is just a generic image of a castle. In fact, it's actually not a castle, it's actually a Linlithgow Palace. But as far as most people be concerned, it looks like a castle. And the text in there says, are you getting married in a Scottish castle in 2022? So I'm also narrowing down how soon they're getting married, because I want to get this portfolio done as quick as possible. So ideally I'm looking for somebody that's going to be getting married in the next 2 or 3 months, hasn't booked a wedding photographer, right? Because what I'm going to do, I'm going to offer to do this for nothing for them, to get this in my portfolio. So the next bit of text I say at the bottom of that advert, win my wedding photos in a DM for more information. Right? So my call to action here is send message, and it's saying DM, win my wedding photos. So it's putting that subliminal thing in their head that they're going to get their wedding photos for free. And that's exactly what I want to do. Now, I'll qualify that, because depending how much coverage the couple might want, and I'm not going to give them an album away for free. I'm not going to get any exterior costs. So I'm just going to give them my photography time and my editing and my images. I'm not going to go and give them free albums or anything. So you've got to qualify that. But this is a great way of getting leads if you're a new photographer and you want to boost your portfolio. Now you can change that a bit if you wish. Change it to you getting married in, I don't know, a country mansion, or a specific venue near you you want to get into. You want to get portfolio images from that venue. Just think outside the box in this one. Just brainstorm it and seeing what type of images do I want, what type of venues they want to work in, and use an advert like that, and you can get a couple of weddings done and get some great portfolio images under your belt. Now, next one. This is a video advert. This was one of probably the most successful ad campaign I used, and it was based around offering a free pre-wedding shoot with our wedding photography. I'll just let this advert play through. So it's still deciding on a wedding photographer, have a free wedding photo shoot on us, and it showed some nice images of the couples having fun at a photo shoot. First 5 couples only, so I'm making it some level of scarcity and exclusivity. So I'm trying to say to people, look, I'm offering this, but it's only to the first 5 couples that actually respond to this advert. Obviously that's not the case because I offered it longer, but they don't know that. So the text would say, primary text, get a free wedding photo shoot on us. And the headline would be, not sure what wedding photographer to use. Now what I'm trying to say to them is, look, I'm giving you an opportunity here to test me as your wedding photographer. And then went on to say, claim your free pre-wedding shoot tryout today. With a call to action that said, get offer. Now that took them to a website landing page. Now the reason I did that is because I needed to explain the offer in a bit more detail to them. Now what we were actually doing, we were saying, for the price of your basically wedding photography deposit, I'm giving you the pre-wedding shoot. Now if for any reason we do the pre-wedding shoot, so I'm getting the money up front, I'm essentially saying I'm taking a wedding photography deposit from you on spec. Obviously they'll have their wedding date booked and everything at this point, and I'm going to do the photo shoot, and if they don't like it, they don't like the results, they don't like the images, they get their money back, right? So I'm saying to them, look, it's a free tryout, you've nothing to lose. If you don't like the photos, just tell me, I'll give you your money back, end of story. But if you do like them, I know you're going to book me. And that's what the point of this advert is, and that's what you've got to sell in your website landing page and what you get across to them. And by the time you've got them on the photo shoot, doing the pre-wedding shoot, they've booked you anyway. That's just how it works. This is a great campaign. We also went on and used these images to do further marketing, which I explain in detail in my 6-Figure Secrets wedding photography course, where we use images to do referral marketing, and I'll explain. You'll find out about that if you purchase our full course. But anyway, that's advertising idea number 2. Now number 3, a similar kind of vein, and this is using kind of cross marketing. We also had a boudoir photography side to our business, which was run by my wife. And we offered people a free boudoir shoot for the bridal party. And we kind of said, this is I let the advert run there, but the thing was, best hen party ever. That was the concept of it. And it was, again, using the simple AIDA kind of rules to attract people's attention. Best hen party ever. That's grabbing their attention. We're creating some interest. You want a free boudoir shoot for a bridal party? It's included free with every wedding photography booking at Alan Hutchinson Photography. Oh, I've not seen that before. Let's find out a bit more. It's a limited time offer. And again, learn more. And again, it was taking them to a website landing page explaining the offer. Now that one worked not as good as a pre-wedding shoot of my dad, but it worked very, very well. Because it was a slightly different angle getting into advertising for wedding photography. So I'm kind of advertising for wedding photography, but using boudoir photography to do it. And if you've got a boudoir angle in your business, you can do that. You can also cross-market with portrait shoots. You could offer a free portrait shoot for a bridal party. Same way. Have a hen party in your studio and do a similar kind of thing. Next advert idea was, basically this one's about making sure the wedding photographers don't book anybody else until you've seen your free report. And you're going to give them the insider's guide to wedding photography. And the idea of this ad, again, it's a fast-paced ad. I'm trying to really generate some urgency here. Right? Before you book your wedding photographer, get the inside secrets, download our free report, and see what you're missing. And the idea of see what you're missing was, i.e., wait till you see my images. That's what you're missing, right? But inside this guide was basically what we call a lead magnet. We would send them, it was a PDF report. We would send them across to prospective couples, explaining the things you really should consider when you're booking a wedding photography. And we used a thing on Facebook called the Facebook Instant Form. And basically it's a little form you can create within Facebook advertising, and this converts like hell. It's an amazing way to convert. It converts much better than sending them to your own website to do this. And basically you're just capturing their name, the date of their wedding, and an email address. And then once you've got that, you would send them their lead magnet, which is your report that you've created, and then you start engaging and talking to your customer. First one, you send the first email saying, here's your free report, I hope you find it useful, blah, blah, blah. Then a couple of days later, they say, have you had a chance to read the report yet? Here's some other information that might be relevant to you. Have you actually booked a wedding venue yet? Start asking them questions, and hopefully they'll start responding to you. And what you want to do here is start to email and start to be there almost like a pseudo wedding planner. You become their best friend in terms of planning weddings, because you know weddings inside out, they don't. And the idea here is, again, just to attract them to you. Make sure the report is full of your images, lots of lovely images in it. So when they get it, they go, yeah, this guy's stuff is really good and is really, really helpful. And that's the idea of that one. Last concept, a similar thing. This one though is targeting couples who are a bit earlier in the process, where they've not actually picked their wedding venue yet. They might not even have picked a date of a wedding. And this is again using a lead magnet, which in my case are called the Scottish Wedding Venue Guide. And obviously you would create a wedding venue guide for locations round about you. And again, we had a little bit of video, more generic kind of venue type pictures, asking them questions, you know, are you thinking about a country house or a castle, or a lochside castle perhaps. And again, get your free guide to Scotland's best venues with a download link. And again, I use the Facebook leads form, name. Now I've said date of wedding there. I made sure that field was optional, because at this point they might not actually know the date of wedding here. And again, you're using the same techniques in the previous ad, but this is capturing them a little earlier in the process, when they've really probably just got engaged. And you'll see the text says at the beginning there, just engaged ? Download your free copy of the Scottish Wedding Venue Guide. So there you have it. That's the 5 ideas we used, and the ideas that worked in our business. Again, test different text on your ads. The text on these ads works for me, and I would use that as a basis of your ads to start off with, but then tweak them slightly and start to figure out what's working best for your audience. Also try and figure out which ads work best, the ones with a short amount of text, or what we call copy in the trade, or the ones with long copy. I prefer short, but your results may vary. Also, qualify your audience immediately with a question or a statement. That helps filter out people. You don't want people clicking on your ads who are not really interested in them. So if you have a question or a statement that filters them, that helps. Excuse me. Other important thing is, turn your ads on in the morning and off late at night. Don't let your ads run through the night, because Facebook will push them, and they'll just be burning through your ad spend through the night, and really you don't want that. You want your ads to be on when your audience is in front of Facebook. Your audience is not going to be in front of Facebook at 5 in the morning, right? So people are on Facebook at 5 in the morning just going clicking through it because they're bored, or they've got insomnia and they can't sleep, right? So make sure you switch your ads on and off. And that's a big money saving tip, but it's really important. Start again, when you're starting new ads, it takes a little while for Facebook to approve your adverts. Now actually that's a point I should make about the first advert copy I referenced back there was the one where you could win your free wedding photography, be careful with the wording there, because Facebook might not allow that specific wording, because they got a little hot on competitions now. You might have to tweak the wording slightly to get through. Anyway, so what I was saying was, in terms of Facebook preview process, it can take them a little while to actually switch your adverts on. So what I'm saying is, as soon as your advert's approved, if it's in the middle of the day, switch it off and start it, or preset it to start a few days ahead, right? So you want to start it in the morning, because how it works, if I start my advert late in the afternoon, Facebook looks at my daily budget and will say that he's got a daily budget of $10 or £10, and it doesn't care to them it's 4 in the afternoon. It'll burn through that budget as fast as possible, where I want to spread my budget evenly through the day. So start your adverts in the morning. Now, in terms of other things on Facebook adverts and audience settings and stuff, if you already have a mailing list of potential previous wedding clients, you can actually upload it to Facebook and create a custom audience, and you can create what we call a lookalike audience. And a lookalike audience is essentially an audience with very, very similar demographics to your existing audience. So they should match your perfect clients. Excuse me, I've tickled my throat. On the lookalike settings, when you set it up, use the 1% setting, which means that how close an audience should this be, and you set it to 1%, which means really high quality. It'll be a smaller audience, but don't worry about that, because it's the quality of the audience that matters. Also, when you're setting ads on, turn off expanded audience. Is that sometimes it can be on by default. Facebook tests this, sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off. So just make sure it's off. You don't want to expand your audience. You know who your audience is. Don't let them decide for you. So that is what I term as my lead generation toolkit. Those were the 5 key ads and advertising concepts that work for us. And I think if you use them, I think if you're new at advertising, or you've maybe played around with some Facebook ads, not had the results, if you focus in on adverts like this, use that AIDA concept I showed you, use some of those concepts in the 5 ads that I used: free pre-wedding shoot, pre-boudoir shoot, or free studio shoot. Download your Insider's Guide to Photography, download a wedding venue guide, or if you're a new photographer, have you booked your dream wedding venue yet? Get them, give them a free wedding shoot, and get that portfolio built up. That's a great way of getting started. So I hope you find that useful, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.